So my name is Sigurd Groven. I'm a Norwegian, 48 years old, and actually a physical therapist by trade, but I had a spinal cord injury almost 11 years ago now, and tried to work as a physio for a couple of years, but figured out that it was just too hard with my injury and pain levels and spasticity and everything that follows a spinal cord injury. So then an opportunity came along to become an entrepreneur and the founder of my company Exotek, and produce this all-terrain wheelchair to help me get back into nature. And now I can help not only myself but hundreds of other people as well. So so a few years after my injury, I met my co-founder Matthias, which is the tech guy of the company, and he's super knowledgeable about electronics and mechanics. I'm not, but I'm very interested in bikes and in mobility aids, so I know my way around that. And I met him by chance on a sit ski camp actually, which is organized by our foundation in Norway. And his wife is spinal cord injured. He's actually a flight engineer by trade, but he knows everything about electronics and mechanics and cars, and he's been building, refurbishing old cars and stuff and motorcycles. So, and then Matthias showed me like a video. We got talking on that camp, and he showed me a video of like a rebuild he'd done from a different machine, which is similar to the Exoquad. It's a French company that makes it.
I know the one.
Yeah. And I actually owned that machine myself at that point. And he had taken it apart and rebuilt it with four-wheel drive and better motors and stuff and better suspension, and for his wife, so she could join them. They just had their first child at that point back in 2017, and when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, this is it, because I've been searching all over the web to try and find something that could really take me back.
That's me as well. That's me as well.
Same with you. I thought it was the mic again. So then I tried everything, and at the end it worked for like lighter terrain, the other mobility aids I had, hand bikes and that French machine I was talking about. But I really wanted to get up back into the mountain, because we were like an outdoors family, and I got 5 kids, and and me and my wife, every weekend we used to go up into the mountains with the kids, and I really missed that, so that was a difficult thing to cope with. And when I met Matthias, I saw the potential in his rebuild, and I asked him, can you please rebuild mine as well? And fortunately he said yes. And the next summer when I went to pick it up at his place and close to Oslo where he lives, then I was just blown away by the new accessibility it had after the rebuild. And but it was not our design, first of all, and it still had, in our opinion, some improvements that needed to be made to make it, even more capable. So then I said to Matthias, there's got to be a market for this. Why don't we join forces and build our own design, And he liked the idea, and then 2019 we got started, like idea phase. Matthias started drawing the frame and the suspension. He's an expert in suspension kinematics.
I can see that. I mean, I'm from the car industry. I used to work in the car industry, then went into television, and I can see him immediately. Someone who knows what they're doing is the suspension.
The next phase for us then was that we entered a startup contest for like young startup companies, and we won that, and then we got some prize money, and we could start building the prototypes. So then, just to go through the machine, the first kind of challenge was something I really missed from my other old machine, is that the A-arms were really short, so you don't have much suspension travel. So I said to Matthias, how can we get the A-arms all the way into the center, so you have a long travel on the suspension, and still have room for the legs? So this is one of the things he was a bit of a conundrum, but he was thinking about it and doing different designs, and then we ended up with these A-arms, which are sort of bent over the chassis, and they're really wide, so you can still have room for your legs in between them, and they go all the way to the center of the construction, so that makes it really stable and super comfortable. And then the next thing was how much power do we need, you know? So we tried at first to build it with hub motors all the way around, and but unfortunately when we pushed the machine really hard over time in steep terrain, it tended to overheat. And then Matthias found these external chain-driven motors here, which are immensely powerful. So they're about 3.5 kilowatts each actually, and the front motors are about 1 kilowatt each. So even on the rear-wheel drive only version, it is more accessible than anything else I know in the market today. So for most people, it's actually enough just with rear-wheel drive, and the price is substantially lower as well on that one.
It's the sort of stuff I do on my Susie. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. Well, you wanted a trail. You wanted a trail. Watch out for the metal. Yeah. Are you still in two-wheel drive mode? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry? Where it isn't good.
Yeah.
Regenerative braking is good, but the only braking available is the regenerative braking.
I see, yeah.
Which isn't necessarily what you want all the time.
We need to have the ability to stop on the dime, you know.
Yeah.
So
you've got pneumatic brakes, have you?
Yeah, we got hydraulic brakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are really large reservoir, powerful brakes that are in fact made for heavy cargo bikes. But you just need one finger really, and we make a lot of adaptations also for those with high-level spinal cord injuries, which don't have hands or that can grip properly. So if you've got reduced hand function, we have a special quad grip setup. So you can have, for example, you can have everything on one side. We even have stroke clients, people with stroke that only have one functioning arm. Then we have everything on one side and they can steer it like this. In the future, we plan to make a joystick version as well. Just haven't gotten that far yet, but it's in our plans. So, but it's really easy to and intuitive to use. There's not a lot of buttons and stuff. You have the two-wheel and four-wheel drive button, and then you have the reverse button and the drive button, you know. And that's pretty much it, and yeah, it's easy to operate.
And it can do a really good crawl as well as the speed stuff.
Yeah, the top speed is 25 kilometers an hour. In miles, that's maybe 17, 18, or, yeah. And in four-wheel mode, we make it substantially slower, so you can sort of crawl up the really steep stuff. So, but 95% of the time, it's engaged on rear-wheel drive only, and when I need to get over some crazy stuff, I engage the four-wheel drive. Yeah.
And obviously, going down is when you need the crawl as well. So it's capable of crawling you down as well.
It is. You can. There is a certain amount of motor brake.
Yeah.
So, but if you come up to fairly high speeds, like 37 kilometers an hour, the motors will kind of disengage and it will free roll. So then you can go very fast if you want to. So yeah.
What sort of battery range have you? Or what sort of range have you got with the batteries?
Yeah, we got a huge lithium-ion battery pack, which is underneath the seat here. It's from a Norwegian supplier actually. We only use like top shelf parts. That's part of the reason why the machine is costly as well. So we build it by hand in Norway, you know, and as the dog want to join in on
no,
that.
it's okay. We'll be.
But yeah, on one single charge you got about, depends on the terrain of course,
yes.
But if you go like fairly straight ahead, a little bit up and down, like gravel roads for example, you can get up towards 60 kilometers of range.
That's great, isn't it?
It's really, really good. So when I went up Snowdon for example, in this weekend, we started at the bottom in the town there and we drove all the way to the top and back down, and I still had 60% left.
Now, I've done that walk to Snowdon, Snowdon when I was 7. So talk me through the Snowdon, because you're on a tour of Britain now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're on like a UK demo tour. So the first day we landed on Heathrow, drove to Wales and got installed close to Snowdon there. And for the first day we met up with our dealer in Dorset, which is called Adaptive Mobility. And Jack there is a wheelchair user himself, the owner of the company, and together we brought along another young man that was, as far as I remember, it hasn't been injured for long. Yeah, so also with a spinal cord injury, and we took him along with a third unit that we got on a loan from another customer actually, and had an amazing day. And the next day we did it all over again with a guy called David Proud, which is an actor. He's actually been in Coronation Street and EastEnders and several films, so he's kind of a celebrity, I guess. and he was born with his disability, so he's never been to the mountains before. Yeah. And he said when he was a kid he was a Boy Scout, and he got all the badges, but the mountain badge he never could acquire, you know. And yesterday he sent me a video where he had the mountain badge, and finally, and he was so blown away, and sent me a message today, and the next day said it was one of the best days of his life, you know. I never thought that would be possible. And
did you make it all the way? Because I know there's a very narrow section. I was wondering how you'd get through that.
We came up almost to the top, so the last section is just too dangerous. It's too narrow. Yeah,
that's what I was worried about, because I thought your route all the way up.
Yeah, but we claimed it. We call it claimed. Yeah. So.
You see, what I would have done is gone up in one of these, take the drone up, because you could go 400 metres.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Then get level with the top and back down again.
David brought his drone, so he's got a lot of nice drone shots, so we can have a look at those.
Show some of that footage.
Yeah.
Tell us about your agents in the UK and give us an idea of availability. Yeah. And then that'll be a nice way to wrap it up.
We have one dealer, as I said, in Dorset, which is called Adaptive Mobility, and then we have our second dealer here in Liverpool, which is Cyclone Mobility. And the price of the machine starts at about £14,000. So
but the quality of the components is the key to
it is. Yeah. So it's really expensive to build. It's a high quality parts. Everything is made in Norway, and also our frame supplier is the main frame is aluminum or aluminium, as you say in England, right? Yeah. And that is produced in Denmark, in fact. Yeah, from a very good partner there. So the finish and the quality of the welding is top notch, and all the steel parts, the A-arms and stuff, are made by a local welding factory in Norway. And of course the motors we import, but the batteries are also from a Norwegian supplier. So this is the V2 or the second generation of the Exoquad. So we've done several improvements to the frame, brand new electronic platform where you have a nice display, also with an app now where you can have different driving modes and stuff. So it is truly a life-changing piece of kit. This is, you know. It comes with a price tag. Yeah, it comes with a price tag, unfortunately, but it's in our plans now. We're working on a more affordable model that will still have amazing accessibility traits. Not quite as extreme as this one, but still
that's the one
unbelievable. Yeah. So I hope sometime next year it'll be ready for market. So
put me on the list for a demo.
Yeah, will do. Yeah,
okay, many thanks.
Thank you.